Welcome into WLTZ D. Armstrong Facebook Live this afternoon. And boy, it's a Talk to Me Tuesday because things are shaking not only in Georgia and the Columbus area, but as you know, around the country. We're going to be talking about what do you think about Governor Deal being asked to do what has happened in Virginia, Charlottesville. Governor Deal, the governor of Georgia, has been asked to take down the Confederate memorials and monuments in the state of Georgia. What do you think about that? And the conversation has been all over the place, and it has crossed racial barriers also too. There are some blacks who say, I acknowledge it's a part of history, just take it out of the public. Putting it in the public makes it seem like it's acceptable. Others are saying, you know what, it shouldn't be anywhere. Some say just put it in museums. So we're going to be talking about that. That's our Talk to Me Tuesday. But first, while some people are loading up, and I'll get a look at that, at who's on with us. Let's see, let me load up my Facebook page here. I want to say thank you so much to whoever it was who nominated me for a trumpet award. I will be going to Atlanta September 23rd and be hanging out with folks I never thought that I would meet, people I've had a chance to cover from afar, the likes of Ricky Smiley and Trina Braxton, and you know, those are some of the stars, and then some of the here we go right here. Oh my goodness, I'm just so honored to be one of the Rice Awards recipients. It's in Atlanta September 23rd, and what it is, it's a night of people in the industry recognizing each other and honoring each other, and saying thank you for the work that you've done. So I'm just so grateful for that. So very grateful that I will be one of them. And you can come too. The tickets are kind of pricey because it is really a red carpet upscale event, the Rice Awards, but they're $75 a ticket. My whole family is going. I would invite you to go. And I would invite you next year to also nominate some people, because they're trying to, most of the awardees over the past years have come from Atlanta, and they've been in the entertainment industry, and they've been in business, and they've been people with big names, but they say they want to reach out, that people are, look at that wonderful picture that was taken of me by Nicole Jones, my director. Thank you so much, Nicole. We had to do it fairly quickly to get it to them, and it turned out just lovely. But the Gwinnetta Wrights of this world, the Karundi Daniels, there's so many people in our town that are doing things for other people. Alfie Jelks, the sole of my feet, I think that's the name of his. He takes shoes over to Africa every year, and this year is the first year that he's taken over doctors and other professionals with him to give kids in Africa things they could never get unless he went there with them. I tell you, the Rice Awards, it is so awesome. It's a chance to dress up. It's a chance to meet people you may not ever meet anywhere else. And it's going to be in the Capitol under the gold dome. I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I never thought that something like this would happen to me, but it is happening. So thank you so much. And I just want to thank you guys. Hello, Tony Benzio. Thank you for the congratulations. Kim Hofshire, thank you, Kim. Kim, please, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. I want to talk to you. I do understand that you've been under the weather, some things happening. Thank you, Sabine. Thank you so much for that. For you guys, just there we go, turning my sound off. Timothy Childry, and thank you so much, Timothy. I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to make sure we get this conversation going today. So that's enough about me. Okay, I'm gonna buy my dress and go up there and try to represent. Okay, but let's talk about what's happening today in the state of Georgia. We've seen all the rioting. We've seen the people being hurt. We saw the former Fort Benning, I guess he wanted to be a soldier, but he wasn't, to take his car and try to run people down in Charlottesville and killed one person and injured 19. Is that going to happen in Georgia? What do you think? Because the NAACP, the state branch of Georgia, has asked Governor Deal to do the same thing, to get rid of all the Confederate statues that sit on public property. So what do you think? Is this what we should be focusing on? Is this what we should be doing? Will something like this happen? Here's some CNN video. Will this be happening in Georgia because of that request? And if you're asked to march, what side would you march on? To keep the statues or to get rid of the statues? And again, there's a news report. Make sure you're watching us at WLTZ. This is where you get your best news, WLTZ. Make sure that you're watching us at noon today, because I'll have that full report. The NAACP requesting that the governor take down those the Confederate statues and memorials, anything that has to do with the Confederacy, to take that down in the state of Georgia. Okay, let's go. All right. Kim Hofshire, okay. Let me hear what you have to say, Leonard Boyd. Let me hear what you have to say, Sabine. They're still thanking me for my, thank you so much for being nominated. I tell you, that was so awesome. I can't wait to be there. I really can't. It's an awesome culmination of what's been happening with my career. But just to read a little bit about it, it says, in light of the violence in Charlottesville, the Georgia NAACP says it plans to ask Governor Deal to tear down the Confederate memorials and monuments in Georgia. Whew. Wow. Is this going to be happening in Atlanta? Is this going to be happening in some of the cities around Georgia? Because that's the focus of the next movement, to take down those Confederate monuments. And what do you think? Do you think that the monuments need to come down? Huh? Thank you, Sabine says I deserve that award because I'm an amazing person. I'm something. I don't know if I'm amazing. The Georgia NAACP Executive Board member, Gerald Griggs, wants what he calls the Lost Cause Memorial. It's in downtown Decatur to go first. He says that better go first in Decatur, Georgia. It's a memorial. He says it's not about heritage. He says it's about hate. Now, what you're going to find out is that a lot of people, black and white, kind of see both sides of the issue. And I guess that's creating tension, not only in the public's eye, but in families. When you have one member who says, you know what, okay, I'm black, but the statue doesn't bother me. Then someone says, oh, then you must be a whatever and a whatever. And it's causing problems in families too. So I don't know, where do you stand with this? What do you think? Waiting for some comments, you guys. And I know, you know, this is one of those things, I guess, where people, they don't want to speak out publicly. They have strong feelings, and they'll say a whole bunch of stuff when they don't think anybody is listening. But what do you say in the public? What do you think about those statues? Do you think that it's a symbol of racism? Or is it a reminder that this is who we were and that it did happen? And is putting those statues out there in the public, endorsing them? Let's take another look. And there are an awful lot of young people who are out there protesting. Tony Benzio says, I don't think it will happen right now, especially with the investigation and the highlights on it right now. I do think it should be brought down and it should be put in the museum. So that's Tony Benzio saying that, you know, and there is a lot more of focus now on individuals. Do you think it's really a right versus left thing? Do you think that the right, people who are conservative, does it make you think that people who are conservative are racist? Or do you think that they're trying to put everybody who says I'm conservative under a racist umbrella? What do you think about that? That's one of the things that the president is trying to say. I'm conservative, but I'm not racist. Conservative and racism is not the same thing. Do you think so? Deborah Sykes says the statues are symbols of hate. At the same time, it reminds African Americans of a very ugly time in history. I do believe they should come down. So what do you think about the idea of not just taking them down, but putting them in a museum and saying this is part of that timeline of U.S. history, that this did happen, and this is what they looked like, and this is a reminder of where we don't want to go? How many of you would say, what do you think, Leonard, if they said, okay, we're going to take it down, if there was one in Columbus, and we're going to put it in the Columbus Museum. We're not going to put it out on public property, we'll put it in the museum. Leonard Boyd says, these symbols represent the basis on which our country was founded. Therefore, the foundation was askew, which is why these kinds of things are occurring. Wow. Good morning, Rhonda Brown German. How are you doing? We're talking about a hot topic today, I tell you, and the topic is that Governor Deal is now being asked to do. what the governor of Virginia is in the midst of, what the president is in the midst of, to take down the Confederate memorials and all of the monuments on public property in Georgia. And the NAACP has not said that they want them put in museums. They said they want them torn down. So if someone from the NAACP is watching, go ahead and post a comment. What do you think? If there is someone who's calling for a march in Georgia to take down the public displays of the Confederate, would you get on one side or the other? How compassionate are you about what's going on? Timothy Childrey said, I would be the first to say, if you think removing statues will cure the hate and racism problem, then you need to wake up. And you know what? I'm going to kind of tiptoe out there. I know that I'm on the line. I am a host and I bring in conversation, and it's really not about me and what I have to say. But I would say this, is that these types of things go so much deeper than that statue. The person who looks at that statue and says that I have no problem with racism, you can take the statue down, they'll still be a racist. Will it have some effect? It may have some effect, but I think it's a heart problem. And just as someone who loves God, I believe that we need to pray, and I believe we need to learn each other and love each other. And taking down a statue, I don't know if that's going to do it. But will it have some effect at all? Rhonda says that definitely won't remove hate. It is much deeper. Eric Banks is saying that I see it coming because Georgia may be the focus of the next international attention. Georgia may be the focus of definitely the next national attention because the Georgia NAACP is already out there. The executive board member, Gerald Griggs, saying he wants first the governor to start in downtown Decatur and take down that memorial called the Lost Cause. It was erected in 1908, and it was in memory of the Confederate soldiers and sailors. And he says, I want that down first. He says it is an explicitly racist memorial, and it doesn't represent the values in our community. Wow. Deborah Sykes says, that's fine. Put them in museums. Ideally, it would be good to exhibit everything in kind of chronological order. Did it happen? Yes. We're not making a determination or giving you any value of what it represented, but this is what happened. This was here. So she says, do it in chronological order. This time, no sugarcoating the real history as it has been in history books. And I think that's part of it too. Racism lives in the heart and it dwells in the soul. Wow, Carlos, grown man Porter, where can I get drone footage from? I don't know. You know what? I think just watch television and copy it. Watch CNN, but definitely watch NBC. Why am I saying watch CNN? That is one of our affiliates, but watch NBC, okay? And we will have as much video as you can use. So we'll be on at noon, 6, 10, 11. We're back on in the morning. So if you watch us, you can get the video if you have what you need to copy video from the air. Hello, Bo Willis. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. And is it Racely? Racely Lee? Okay. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. We are, I do the noon news, and we'll be up at noon. And one of the reports that you're going to see is from the NAACP asking Governor Deal to do something that could spark some violence, that could spark what we're seeing here happening in Charlottesville. Brother against brother, maybe, friend against friend, neighbor against neighbor, over what our country truly represents, whether or not we should have Confederate memorials in public places. In light of the violence in Charlottesville, the Georgia NAACP says it will ask Governor Nathan Deal to tear down Confederate memorials and monuments in the state of Georgia. So by the time we go on, this has probably gotten to the governor, and we'll stay with us all day today. We're going to try to be first to bring you his response. Now, here's a Korean War veteran who's going to be in the piece you're going to see at noon, and his name is Patrick McNally. He says he appreciates the Confederate statues and the war heroes. He says we should recognize them and keep them honorable like they should be, because they were soldiers who served honorably. Maybe not for the signs you wanted, but they gave their lives fighting for what they believed. That's what some people believe, okay? Daryl Stokes says some people are always going to be afraid of change. Wow. Leonard Boyd says, I meant to say that these things keep occurring. Wow. Put them in museums, Deborah Sykes says. And Timothy Childry, after I said, you know, I agreed with him that you cannot cure hatred by tearing down a statue. It might be a beginning, it might be a symbol, it might be a sign, but we've got to change our own hearts. And I don't know what that movement is going to take. The only thing I know is that you have to invite God into your life, but someone else may know some other way. You know, you don't have to do it the way I do it, but that's the way I see it. But thank you so much for watching. I just want to let you know that we're going to have Rooney G on this Friday, and he is one of the local DJs who is so hot, hot, hot. You can touch him and you might still be on fire. Rooney G is just collaborating with some of the biggest names in music. He is hot. He's going to be on the show this Friday. I want you to make sure that you watch that. And then again, I want to say thank you, whoever it was, I still don't know, who nominated me for the Trumpet Award in Atlanta. It's a huge event, lots of stars, the red carpet, it's a big deal. Trina, who was that? Some of the big stars, I can't even remember some of them. I was looking it up. Go to their page, the Rice Awards. For me to be counted among them, that's just awesome. That's Ricky Smiley and the rest of those people. I tell you, look up their bios. They have been so strong and instrumental in the areas where they've been, and I'm being recognized for being instrumental in the area of television and television hosting and the things that I've been able to accomplish in the community. So that's the Trumpet Awards. Wow. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Okay, tomorrow is Wednesday when we try to talk about things that are of faith. Always let me know when you have something you want to talk about, because this is your Facebook Live show. I love you very much. I'll see you getting ready to do the noon news here on WLTZ. Stay with us for noon, 6, 10, and 11. We'll be back at 5 in the morning too.